up, guys? It's your girl Kasey, and today I'm going to be doing a YouTube video about liabilities in your life. So not like assets and liabilities when it comes to real estate, but how people could be damaging your brand, damaging your reputation, or just not causing you to propel in a way that you would like to propel in your life as we get ready for 2024. A lot of people are thinking about that. Obviously it's all over YouTube, but a lot of things that are not on YouTube is about like dealing with people or things or habits that are liabilities in your life. So let's just check out the actual definition of a liability. And if you go to Merriam-Webster, so the definition of a liability is a person or thing whose presence or behavior is likely to cause embarrassment or put one at a disadvantage. And so obviously, like, as we think about like becoming our best self, and a lot of people are wanting to do that, as always, thinking about who is stagnating you is important and what habits that you have are stagnating you. 4 ways you are a liability to yourself. Your daily habits is one. Your anxiety is crippling, and that's definitely a liability. Your lack of discernment and being in a state of confusion. All of those ways are ways that you are a liability to yourself, and they're not serving you to allow you to fulfill your God-given purpose. And it's very hard for you. No, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's challenging, but you are perfect in God's image. And with that being said, you are able to conquer all things. So anxiety, leaning not onto your own understanding, trusting the Lord, like be anxious for nothing. All of these are scriptures in the Bible. And what I would challenge you to do, this is what my Bible study group did, is we would write scriptures of areas that we saw deficiencies in our life, and we would write scriptures to combat that, because there's power of life and death in your tongue, of course. And so if you are saying these scriptures, combating this thought in your head, then you do start to like not have anxiety. And you do, like, I can say truly my anxiety now, like on a day-to-day basis, like there were mornings in the summer where I would just wake up with crippling anxiety. And now I don't really wake up like that. And I do wake up more at peace because I have said those very scriptures over myself every morning to give myself the strength and the courage to get up. Now, the lack of discernment, I am still personally working on discernment, okay? And what I will say is that discerning your feelings comes with posturing your heart towards God, I think. And when you have discernment, it comes from the Spirit, because you are sitting at the feet of the Lord, and that allows you to feel things. But I think that discernment should not, I think a lot of people use the word intuition or this gut feeling. That's discernment that you need to tap into. And a lot of us don't tap into the discernment and the gut feeling that we already have in order to navigate this space, because he, just like in Proverbs 3:6, he will direct your path. He is directing you every single day, and you are not listening. You are not listening because of things you're consuming, like in your eye gates and in your ear gates, and the things that you are putting in your body. And a lot of it is like tea, like celebrity tea. I feel like TikTok now is like nothing but like, yeah. Dang, the sun is like moving. So anyway, that's how I feel like we're liabilities to ourselves. Now, of course, other people, outside forces can be liabilities towards us. And I want to point you to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6 through 10. And I think that I want to read this whole thing to you because I think that it will all make sense. This is in the New Living Translation, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6 through 10 in the New Living Translation. Don't be fooled by those who try to excuse their sins, for the anger of God will fall on all who disobey him. Don't participate in the things these people do, for once you are full of darkness, but now you have light from the Lord. So live as the people of light. For this light within you produces only what is good and right and true. Carefully determine what pleases the Lord. Okay, so I said all of that, but ways that you can identify if you are a liability to yourself is by your daily habits, right? Like, your daily habits matter so much because ultimately that's who you are and will become. So if you smoke every day, whatever you decide to smoke or partake in, then that's how you're gonna be. If that doesn't serve the long extent to your long game, then you should stop doing that. For me, I know that one of my I'm going to talk about the habits that I want to include into my life, which is obviously, I'm a gym girly, so definitely keeping the gym at the forefront of my life. But I want to just be better. So last month I did a no drinking challenge, and no, I did not go all 30 days without an alcoholic beverage. But I was mindful of what days I did consume and how much I consumed, because I knew I didn't want to go every weekend with obsessive drinking. And so this month I am, just keeping a tally of every day that I don't drink or smoke hookah for me. Hookah for me and wine for me is a thing to chill. But I want to replace those habits with reading a physical book instead of an audio book, because I've been into audiobooks for the last couple of months. But now I have this new book that I want to read. It's called The Newsmaker. I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm replacing those two habits with newer habits that will take up that time, because sometimes I'm I just want to chill and relax, and this is what I know will relax me during this time. And so sometimes I just get anxious with not doing anything. I can't just sit still. But I know that I need to quiet my mind, so that's the reason why I would have a glass of wine or something like that. But I don't want to do that as much as possible this month. And I feel we all have tendencies that are liabilities to us. But I feel when you are in this state of change, then just giving yourself a lot of grace to get through it. And I was in Bible study the other night, and I just said that it was just so easy for me to give grace to other people, but it's not really easy for me to accept grace. And so this month I want to be more mindful of just saying, Kasey, it's okay. It's okay. God loves you, and he knew that this was going to be your outcome, and that's okay. Let's not just fall into a habitual habit of doing this. You know what I'm saying? And just really being mindful of every day I am dying to my flesh every single day. And actually the other day I was I'm gonna stop by and just get a bottle of wine, because I just got back in town. And so I was I'm gonna go get a bottle of wine for the whole month, right? That's what I tell myself. And then as I was walking to the liquor store, I literally kept saying, Kasey, you have to die to your flesh, die to your flesh, die to your flesh, because you do not need this. You don't need this crutch of wine to chill out in the evenings. You don't need that. So why are you gonna go spend the money on that when we have other things that we could do, like read, like eat ice cream, like eat, do other things with our time that doesn't have to do with things that slow down, like fog my brain. So we are our own liabilities in our own right, and that's fine. James chapter 1 verse 5. If any of you who lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given unto him. And I find myself just really like asking for wisdom and asking for discernment in certain areas of my life, because there are certain habits that I don't like, that I do. You may need to find another community to better serve this next season in your life, and I feel like that's okay. So that you can step into the full glory of God. And it sucks sometimes talking about this topic, but it's very needed. And I feel like you don't need to cut off every person who is a liability in your life, but maybe you handle them different, or maybe you grant them certain access to your life and maybe not others. And I feel like just governing yourself accordingly has always been like my biggest thing. Like when people show you who they are, just govern yourself accordingly. Like does that doesn't always, like, I feel like when people show you who you are, believe them. Like I feel like that's cool as a quote, right? And that's like cool, I need to believe them, right? But I need to govern myself accordingly, because clearly they're showing me a portion of themselves that is true, and that I may or may not like, or it may or may not serve me. And I feel like in this season, it's very much so okay for you to be selfish a little bit. And I feel like the older you get, the more you understand being selfish and being selfless, and when is the best time to use either aspect of your life. And so ways that you can identify like liabilities in your life is if when you're around them, you feel uneasy. To me, that's the number one like way to know that this person is a liability, because if this person is serving God's given purpose in your life, then you're not going to feel uneasy. You're going to feel very much so fulfilled by them being in your life. And so I would, if someone's making you feel like that, I would literally just start backing away from them. And one thing that I did is I went through my phone, and certain people that automatically popped up into my head when I looked at that definition of liability, I put liability next to their name. My interpretation of this for the purpose of liabilities is don't be too easy to trust what other people are saying. And if you feel like you have to double check people's work or double check their actions, or if you feel like they're lying to you, then they're lying. Okay, it don't make sense, and they're a liability. And if you feel like they don't have your best interest at heart, then I would just nip that in the bud. It will help you cultivate your own habits that are pleasing to what your vision of what 2024 should look like for you. And I hope that you find the community that you need to support you in that journey. And I saw this thread on the Instagram threads, the Dear Algorithm thread, where people wrote like their wish list of people that they wanted to be connected to. Create that for yourself and find people like that. And that's all I'm gonna say on this whole liability thing. Kick them people to the curb, and that's it. I wish you nothing but peace and blessings, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye guys.